Alright, so this is my Public Pretenders Part 2. After Rose and Alicia pulled their bullshit, well, I decided that I wanted my life to be over. And I did threaten some people. I threatened their friends who had threatened my life, who had played with my head, who had gone out of their way to lie repeatedly. And the police wouldn't take a look at any of it. They didn't give a fuck. They had already made up their minds who was fucking guilty and who was innocent. The fact is, Natalie was not innocent. She was a drug-dealing whore. You don't like me saying mean words? Well, I don't want to have to say mean words. I want to remember Natalie for who she was to me in person. She was wonderful. However, all of the things that have happened to me since have forced me into a situation where I have to speak out. And if I have to use harsh words, so be it. You guys get to decide whether Alicia is the liar or whether Natalie is the liar. And that's the important part about getting them in court. So, I decided to go down to McIntosh Dairy and kill myself. On the way to McIntosh Dairy, I went to a friend's house, and he was on meth, and he couldn't stop. I didn't feel comfortable there, so I left. I was supposed to go to Lexi Wood's house. But she was back together with a boyfriend who had just beaten her up a week earlier. So, on my way to go to her house, she let me know that her boyfriend, who had just beaten her up a week earlier, said no. They had just gotten back together that day. Meanwhile, she's got a protection order against him because he beat her up. So what did he do? He beat her up again. Of course, I was already in jail by that point. See, here's what happened. I ran out of battery charge on my phone. I had talked to Selena Maestas. She's the one who knows Justin Ward, one of Natalie's former boyfriends. She had two boyfriends when she was killed. Justin Ward and Joey Moreno. So, my phone died, and I ran into Federal. And Federal is where Ken and Leah live. And I thought to myself, you know what? I can't find McIntosh Dairy from here to kill myself. So I need to do something. I was driving down Federal and I came up with an idea. You know, I'm going to go light Ken and Leah's truck on fire. And then I'm going to drive to Nebraska. And there's a cruiser parked outside of the police station in Chapel, Nebraska. And I was going to light it on fire. That way, I could force an agency, an outside agency, to take a look at everything that was going on. So I drove down and I bought a gas can at the gas station. And I used it, filled it up with some gas. And I went over to Ken and Leah's and I poured some gas on the side of the road right next to the pickup. And I really had to psych myself up for about 20 minutes to light that fire, but I was able to do it. So then on my way to drive to Nebraska to light that police cruiser on fire, I thought, you know, if I threaten the President of the United States, that'll do the same thing. It'll get them to look at it from an outside agency, which is what I need, because police in Colorado coordinated with each other across jurisdiction to fuck with me. And I can prove that. And I need a judge to sign to get the rest of the evidence to prove it. But I can't do that without a lawyer. So, I made a post and let the web wingnuts know where I was at. Since the police wouldn't take my report, but they'd take a report from the Bollingers, I decided to post all that up on Facebook, exactly what I had done, because I didn't hide from it. And let them do what it is that they do. Hoping that for once the police would look at both sides, but nope, they refused. I went and parked where I said I would, and I waited for them to show up like I said I would. But then this Kara Johnson lady, who had been meddling in this case from the beginning, who had fucked with me for Miss Shelley, who had lied to me outright on multiple occasions and played it off like she was a fucking victim when she wasn't. She was predatory, just like Ted, just like Rose, just like Alicia. So, yeah, this video's getting pretty long already, isn't it? So let's continue. I had those officers come and talk to me, and I tried my best to explain what was going on, and they claimed that I'd get to make a statement once we got to the hospital, and that they wouldn't tow my vehicle. They lied outright. They said I was going to be held on a 72-hour hold. And they did the same thing that the Chapel Police Department had done and the Boulder Police Department had done. They tried to have me sent to the hospital so they could have me diagnosed with something that would discredit all my words in court. Well, when Dual County tried to do it by shipping me to Scotts Bluff, they tried to do it with bipolar disorder. Well, that ain't going to work because bipolar disorder is not the same as schizophrenia. Now, when I was trying to explain to Sheriff DaCosta in Chapel, Nebraska what was going on with that, he said he only saw the beginning of the video. I said, why? He said, well, because in the beginning your friend says that you're bipolar, so we don't have to. Ah! So after that, when I had to chase down the officer, they had me sent to Scotts Bluff and tried to pretend like I was fucking crazy because I'm bipolar. And have me diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I was already diagnosed with bipolar disorder. These dumbasses should have paid attention. So Boulder, they tried to get me diagnosed with schizophrenia to make it okay. They tried to do that in the Longmont Hospital. Then they had me set up with some appointments, and Miss Peaches helped me to set up some appointments, and I went to all of those therapy appointments, but the police, including Amanda Jonas and Brian Valenzuela, kept on interrupting my therapy sessions. Now later on they would claim that I wasn't trying to get help. All this time I've been trying to get help, the help that I needed. The psychiatric help that I needed, I was prevented from getting. I was prevented from going to see those people. I was prevented from having the money to do it because of the assault by the Boulder Police. So, I've got Zoe Tanner, who didn't want to do her job. Amanda Balehash, who didn't want to do her job. Jill Gookin, who didn't want to do her job. Stephanie Cotton, who didn't want to do her job. And Katie, whatever the hell her name is, that didn't want to do her job. So, the officers in Natalie's case, they assaulted me at the Boulder Hospital for trying to make a report. They drugged the fuck out of me so I didn't know what the hell was going on, and then pretended like they served me with a warrant. Or served me with papers for protection order. Meanwhile, I'd been trying to get a protection order against these people for well over a year by this point. Police outright refused to help me. Ken and Leah had stolen all of my money, and all of my money since had been spent on trying to make the courts happy, and I still had to break the law to try to get them to listen. So then I get a court-appointed attorney, and she's there to argue bail, and a whole bunch of slander is used to prevent me from getting out on a PR bond. Now, this is after Amanda Jonas and Brian Valenzuela had stolen evidence of their own wrongdoing and of wrongdoing of officers and Bollingers and their cronies across the board in multiple states, multiple jurisdictions. Actual threats with actual guns against me. And these people want to pretend in court like me having a squirt gun to defend myself against the people who are actually assaulting me means that I'm going to go kill somebody. Fuck you, you goddamn fucking cowards. Now, my public pretender there, I ended up having 7 of them. Now, this is where it's going to get real complicated. So I'm going to stop this video.